Hello one and all, my name is Ryan Bruce, my friends call me Fluff, and today on Wrist, Beards, and Gear, we are going to check out the new G Series, G3 and G4 Mark II preamp pedals from Revv. When it comes to distortion mastery, I don't think there's anyone better suited to be at the top of that list than Revv amplifiers with, of course, their Generator series of high gain amplifiers. However, they have done the impossible with their G series pedals and really harnessed the best of the tube feel and flavor, gain structure, and non-fizziness with their G series preamp pedals. Well, they went ahead and updated them, and today we are going to check out the Mark II versions of the G3 and G4 pedals from Revv Amps. And before we go any further, this is not a sponsored video. Derek and Dan are dear friends of mine, longtime friends of mine, and I'm not being paid to make this video, nor was I asked to make a video. I was sent these pedals because my friends send me cool stuff, and I decided to make a video because I am actually really stoked on these pedals. All thoughts and opinions are mine. Now, as the colors would imply, the G3 is based on the purple channel and the G4 is based on the red channel of the Generator 120. However, for the Mark II versions of these pedals, these are based on the Mark III Revision B voicings of the respective amplifier, right? So these are kind of going along generationally with the newest, latest, and greatest 120 offering from Revv. Now, what's changed? Honestly, these are made to cut a little bit better. Also, the G4 specifically is made to be less low MIDI, less boomy, if I may. It's still thicker than the G3, but that's the great thing about these pedals is, you know, they weren't that similar. So if you had both of them, you basically had a multi-channel amplifier on your pedal board. I love that. In real life, on the 120, I bounce between the purple and red channels just depending on the sonic situation I'm in. Super drop tune, extended range metal or rock or whatever. For rock tones, I'm typically the red channel. But for super high gain, when tightness is needed and cut is needed, I'm on the purple channel. So it just depends on the situation that you're currently in. Let's go ahead and plug these things in and get them warmed up and revving, puns intended. Let's get them on the desk. All right, I have the G3 and the G4 pedals here on the desk. I decided to go into a UAD aux stomp because I think this is indicative of the kind of setup that you would typically use these pedals in, as opposed to going through, you know, an effects return on a big old tube amp or something like that. So the cabinet I am running in the aux stomp is a 412 Marshall V30 cabinet. I am also using my signature Sterling Fluff guitar with a Seymour Duncan JB in the bridge. All controls at noon. Aggression on both pedals is off. Let's start with the G3. Pretty good. G4. The G4 is decidedly thicker sounding than the G3, at least with all of the controls at noon. Let's dive into the aggression modes, starting with the G3. We'll go from blue to red. That is lovely, isn't it? G4. So thus far, all the controls have been at noon. Let's fine tune the G3 and the G4. I feel like the G4 is gonna be better for this situation with the gain lower, but we'll see. So we're gonna start with the G3, then we're gonna move on to the G4, and I'm going to dial each of these pedals in as just, you know, as I would if I were setting up for a gig or something like that. Now let's do the G4. I'm gonna go for a lower gain setting on this. G3 and G4 Mark II pedals from Revv. So what do I think? You know, it's funny, when Derek told me, oh, we have Mark II versions of these pedals, I was literally thinking like, oh, what would you change about them? Like they're so good as it is. They're better. These are definitely better than the OGs, not taking away anything from the OGs. However, this G3 Mark II pedal is maybe the best preamp distortion pedal I've ever played. There's the squishiness and the feel of an actual tube amp without it being a tube amp. It's dramatically smaller, dramatically lighter, and dramatically cheaper as well. You can find both of these over on the Revv website. I will link down below in the description. And with that, you've been wonderful. I have been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.